Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Starseed Dragon channel. We are going over the Sacred Rebels Oracle, and we are on number 25. Number 25, release the dark wound, let love live. If we detach something from its source too soon, trying to force it to become what it is not yet ready to what it is not yet ready or willing to become, we can unintentionally sap it of its strength and kill it. There is a dark wound in the conscience of humanity which demands perfection and denies process. If you are thinking of publishers before you have even written the book, if you are comparing your unfinished song idea to the latest best-selling pop release, if you have decided you are not good enough or worthy enough to succeed before you've given it everything you've got and asked for divine help, then this dark wound has you in its grasp. You have to let go of the death grip of perfectionism and let yourself and your ideas live. Love is abundant, creative, and inspiring. It moves us so much more joyously and creatively than fear. You are being asked to honor the path of your own love, what inspires you, what feels exciting, joyful, and perhaps even rather different. Let that live. Release the dark wounding of false belief. There are countless stories of vastly successful artists who very nearly binned the project that was the making of their career because of the despair fostered by their own dark nature. They doubted. They were uncertain. Was their work any good? Was it useless? They struggled to believe in the right of a work to come to life, whether it was accepted, revered, or rejected by others or not. They nearly lost their work to fear. Undoubtedly, there have been many times when this has actually happened, and the work was not saved, not allowed to live. Do not let this happen to you. Whether something is meant to be a commercially oriented venture or a more personal creation for your own therapeutic healing, it must be allowed to be without judgment, without criticism, even without premature evaluation. It must be allowed to be what it is, and only time, love, patience, and attention will reveal it. If you have drawn this card along with the Oracle of Defend to the End, the Worthwhile, or the Oracle of New Birth, Guarded Vigilancy, then the message above is amplified and you are asked to act on this immediately so that your path can continue under the protection and grace of wisdom. If you feel drawn to read the messages of one or both of those additional oracles, whether you have drawn the cards in this reading or not, trust your instincts and do that in addition to completing the reading of this guidance and the healing process below. You can do the healing process for those additional cards if you wish to do so. The messages of this card are also amplified if you have drawn the Oracle of Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats. If you have not drawn that card but feel inspired to read its messages and complete the healing process for that oracle, trust yourself and do so now. Okay. And then number 26. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. Dear Sacred Rebel, this moment in your life requires great courage. Fortunately, you possess that in bucket loads. You are being asked to allow yourself to be lifted out of one level of known reality into the next level of higher voltage reality. Higher voltage reality requires a more absolute trust and a heart that is surrendered into the greater heart of the universe, so that life can happen to us, through us, and with us more quickly, more radically, more beautifully, and more boldly. You are now being invited into this new reality where things happen quickly and according to bold, loving optimism. This is a reality not only of potential, but of manifestation of the great big cosmic yes. To access this reality, you have to leap from known waters, and others may think you are crazy for doing so. You have to leave behind the dark, weighty grip of hesitation, procrastination, second-guessing, and the belief you have to do everything on your own. You may fear for your life. How will you be safe in the wild electrical pulse of so much aliveness? How will you function without the hazy, sleep-inducing paralysis of playing it safe, taking too long, and placing lesser priorities above your sacred art of life? How will you hold yourself back if you don't hold on to fear? You do not need to worry about such things. Life is wild, but it is also wise. It is a force of startling, raw awakening at times, but it is also the natural process of evolution where all things mature according to a seasonal cycle in right timing. You are a part of, not apart from, that process. The invitation to shift gears and jump on board the express train of life will feel exhilarating and perhaps also challenging. When you are in the hold of the darkness, you will feel pushed to turn away, to imagine it is all too much, and to create excuses about how your desires aren't grounded enough, that you are being too flighty or flaky, or that you are not living in the real world. That is fear talking, not truth. If the sacred rebel is not awakened, we will continue to live in a culture drenched in fear and distrust of nature. Those without awakened hearts don't yet understand what nature knows. She knows timing. She knows life and death. She knows the creative process. She just knows, and can be trusted to support us, her own creations, in becoming all that we can become. Does this mean that we become passive and just flow along like a limp leaf detached from the tree and blown about randomly by the breeze? No. Being free of the dark hold empowers us to take up our cause. This means being free to act and affirm the intuitive feelings we have by following up on them. This is painting like someone who has lost their mind, completely free and from the heart. It means writing even though you have no conscious idea of what you are writing, even as the words are streaming forth upon the page before your rather curious eyes. And it means speaking about your work, never hiding it away. Allow it to breathe the fresh air and be held in the gaze of another. Detach from the darkness that would say it is not enough or must be the best thing ever, whatever that means, in order to be worthy of a place in the world. Instead, just let it be what it is. It might fly, it might endure, and it might not. All of nature, including you and your passions and dreams, will be what is needed, when it is needed, and how it is needed according to wisdom. We just have to trust in this, within ourselves and within nature herself, through the flow of life, and participate. You are asked to go within and imagine diving deep off the edge of what you have known. There is so much more calling to you now. It's your time. Leap. That is beautiful. What a great message. Next up is number 27, receiving. You are so loved. Your every need is witnessed and responded to by the universe. However, you sometimes forget this. You become swept up in the momentum of habitual consciousness, and you forget to take a moment to stop, breathe, and be. In that moment, you can receive the love of the universe that is receiving you. It will nourish you with contentment and energy. You have not done this enough, so your soul is becoming parched and is drying out. Energy has been going out of you, but there is not enough coming back in. It is time to bring something back in for you. To receive and be received. You are being offered a chance for restoration now, to feel nourished, cared for, and loved. Accept it, you deserve it. The healing process below will help you surrender any guilt or shame you feel for having needs in the first place. It will also help you overcome any struggle that you have receiving and accepting, so that your needs can be met. Do you know how much joy the universe gains from being able to give to you? When you delight in what you receive, when you openly embrace a gift and are so happy with it, the universe is fully received by you. In this space, there is joyful communion between you and life. Energy flows more freely and magic happens. When you demur saying you cannot accept that it is a too great a gift, or that you are not worthy, you are impeding that flow. You are inhibiting the communion, the connection, the playful interaction between you and the universe. Enough with the false modesty and guilt. You are a radiant sun in human clothing. An exquisite life experience is your birthright. Enjoy it. Soak it up, all of it, including the restoration of sacred rest. From that place of nourishment, you will more effortlessly create, live, and love with greater energy and thriving, pulsing passion. The earth beats each night so it can greet the sun again each morning with this spectacular living art of sunrise. Allow yourself to switch off, step away, close the laptop, switch off the phone, and just be with yourself for a little while. You will return and be more efficient and effective. Rest now, play now, and work later. Forget your worries for a while. Switch off. Do something else. Let it all go and it will all flow. Nice. Next up is number 28, collaborative dreaming. Well, that's a pretty cool card. Your heart is big enough to dream not only for yourself, but for a new humanity. Imagine a world that is healed with respect, understanding, and with community that fosters life. Even your dreams that relate to you alone will contribute positively to the greater good, because that is the nature of your heart. Your heart naturally and intelligently cooperates in a grand theme of loving creativity, working to heal the hearts of the world. The heart creates win-win situations that benefit the individual and the collective. You are being asked to honor your growing desire to create with conscious, like-minded people. Your collaborative dreaming is is a heart-inspired win-win, bringing mutual enhancement to yourself and others. The heart wants to love and be loved. Working with others creatively is a way to allow the heart to grow. It is a chance for you to learn how to honor yourself and others, to find ways to live and let live, simply by growing and strengthening your active trust in your heart's guidance. You are asked to bear the rough patches that can happen when you work creatively with others. Ideas might clash and there can be friction, particularly if you have different ways of working. Sometimes big dreams need more fire to ignite them into reality. More fire might require more friction along the creative path. It is not meant to be a permanent condition, just an aspect of the creative process from which you can learn something useful if you wish. Your guidance is to embrace any experiences of friction or tension within yourself or as you work with another, with compassion, detachment, and tolerance. Creative endeavors, particularly involving groups, can bring up unresolved issues about being valued, heard, or capable. They can also trigger disputes about taking responsibilities or inflame insecurities about being cast into unfamiliar roles of leadership or having to follow. This might happen for you or others or for all involved. The stronger the creative energy that flows, the more likely that triggering will take place. It is the nature of creative energy to move in all directions. It doesn't just want to grow one project. Everything that comes into contact with it will grow. That means that the art and the artist are in the process of creation. This can be smooth, but it is more likely to be rough sailing, at least at times. This is not a sign that something isn't working. Far from it. It is more usually a sign that growth is happening and you are feeling the growing pains. This oracle is guiding you to stay in your integrity. Honor what you feel and remember why you chose to open up to group endeavors in the first place, especially if the group involvement becomes complex or challenging. Call on unconditional love each day and evening. It only takes a moment to do, I call on unconditional love. Please help and guide me and this project. You are going through this experience or will be in the near future because you are part of a new creative learning program for humanity. This learning program is taking place at a spiritual level, and it requires highly individualistic and creative people to learn to work with each other without compromising who they are in order to reach a common creative goal. It is wonderful. It is wonderful, important, and challenging creative and spiritual work. You need a strong sense of self to be able to engage in the process and not lose your voice during the journey. You need a strong enough sense of self to be flexible and know when to bend rather than break. You have to intuit. You have to intuit what is going to be a good heart-inspired sacrifice for the greater good, and when you will need to stay true to your own voice for the greater good. Only the heart can guide you on those matters, and others may not always agree with your instincts and vice versa. That is part of the challenge of staying present so that the friction created can be channeled into creative energy rather than lost in emotional turmoil. Please remember that what really matters is that you hear your own voice. Others may or may not be able to receive it. When you hear your own voice, you will be able to connect with your heart truths. You will know when it is right to remain in a group or when you need to withdraw in order to work with others who resonate at a more appropriate vibration and perhaps more in harmony with your own. Not every collaboration will be long-term. Sometimes the learning will be short, sharp, and possibly even painful before it turns into the wisdom that is gained from experience. At other times, the journey will be more loving, supportive, and harmonious. This is neither better nor worse, just different. This oracle comes with particular guidance for you at this phase of your life path and creative journey. You are no longer to think of yourself as the lone wolf. Yes, you have your unique path to tread, but you now have tasks to accomplish for your own growth and the greater good that require more than a one-man band. You will still do your own work, of course. However, others are on the way to help you. There is only so much a single drop of water can do on its own through this process. Together, those drops can become a wave and make a considerable impact in the world. You are a part of a wave of loving consciousness, and you are meant to be exploring collaborative dreams, healing relationships, and conscious communities. Some connections will be short-lived and perhaps involve some learning experiences that you are hopeful of never needing to repeat. Others will be longer-term loves. Either way, you will emerge more of yourself and more in connection with the world that wants your ideas, presence, energy, and light. This oracle brings a message to those of you that are involved in a group and are struggling over whether to continue or to let it go and move on. You are asked to trust your heart and not to allow any group to become more powerful than the wisdom of your own heart. Always allow the sacred rebel within you to question authority. Is it loving and wise authority, or is it coming from a place of fear-based control? Look to your heart's wisdom to discern whether your involvement in a group is healthy or not. Sometimes a group can only receive so much of our energy before it is time to move on. Sometimes a group is not receiving us at all, but we feel that we are meant to be a guiding hand in it for a period of time before our heart urges us to let go. Ask for guidance, do the healing process below, and trust in the feelings that become clear to you over time. You will know what to do, and you must always trust your own voice above any other. Wow. Next up, I think I'm going to end it here because we're at 23 minutes. So the next video is going to start on number 29, Seeing the True You. So I will see you in the next video. I will talk to you later.